All right, everybody, welcome back. It's the end of the world with Michael and Stu.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Stu, and today we are going over some recent decisions by our illustrious Supreme Court of the United States, or SCOTUS, if you are a complete loser. That's how you probably know it. I thought for a change of pace, we would try a little format
to humiliate me.
Well, no, a format augmentation, which is to say that I'll go over sort of the gist of a case, not in much detail at all, because quite frankly, I don't have that much detail written in my notes. I didn't realize we were doing this until Michael suggested it. He's claiming he's the victim here. But I'll go over the details of the case, and then Michael will sit in the role of judge, jury, executioner, a sort of Judge Dredd, if you will.
Of the pod, yes, that's right.
You remember what Judge Dredd's famous tagline was, Michael?
I am the law?
That's correct. Big movie of our childhood.
We're not going to leave it in suspense. We're not going to leave it in suspense for people. I'll say what I'm not being given the full weight of the case, right? So who knows? But just, it's sort of at first blush, where do I think I would go with it? And then we'll see, and basically, I think it's fair to say, if I line up with the right answers, it would suggest that I might be ready to make a late run for the court. Yeah,
this is sort of the equivalent of you being the new Robert Plant in Led Zeppelin, right? A topic that we had previously broached. Plant's out of the reunion.
How many albums would my new band SCOTUS sell?
0.
I was the front man.
All right, so without further ado, let's just jump right in. We've got a bunch of cases here. The first one involves gun rights. Basically, Hawaii.
I don't like those. Not gonna lie.
Hawaii had a law that said people with gun permits aren't allowed to just bring their guns into private businesses. Some people objected to this, and
on what grounds? Do you know?
What do you think?
Second Amendment?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to show off my bona fides as a...
Oh, wow. We're getting Latin with it as well. This is heavy. So what do you think the Supreme Court... how would you decide this? Should people be able to just bring their guns into any private establishment?
I would say... that's tough, actually. So they are permit holders.
Yeah, I mean, they've gone through whatever procedure. They're legally owning the gun. Depends from state to state, but in Hawaii, I think
they would still be allowed to carry those weapons on public premises.
Yes.
Right. So the only difference is you go into a Starbucks, you can't have a gun, correct?
That's right. I don't know if it's not a Starbucks in this case per se, but hypothetically, that's a good
right.
Hawaii has Hawaii,
the cake shop. Could you bring a gun into the cake shop that didn't want to make cakes for homosexual?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Cake Shop, legendary downtown Brooklyn, New York, Manhattan venue where I played.
You know the cake shop I'm talking about.
Another another legendary cake shop.
Because this is the thing, Stu, when you are presiding, it's also it's about precedent.
That's right. That's right. No,
so I don't know what those two things have to do with each other.
Legalistically speaking, I have no idea either. I'm not a lawyer. I just was on jury duty for a month. Those are my qualifications.
Yeah, I think could you bring the gun into the DMV?
I think probably not. I think it's different for public governmental buildings. There's probably a different standard that applies because DMVs I think are often in other.
Yeah, in fact, right now you probably are allowed to bring a gun into a Starbucks, but can't into a DMV.
Well, no, in Hawaii you weren't allowed to do either, I think.
Oh, so someone challenged it. It wasn't happening.
That's what the law is about.
I think I would say that I haven't seen enough, and I would keep the status quo in that case, where you still cannot bring them on private premises.
Well, I'm afraid you're wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Supreme Court overturned this and said, basically, Hawaii cannot ban permit holders from carrying their weapons on private premises unless, there's a big unless, those premises specifically ban guns from their establishment.
I like that. That's kind of the most dystopian in a way of the options, because what it suggests is that you're going to have huge signs like in front of like McDonald's ball pits where children play that just say no guns allowed.
Yeah, exactly. And
oh my God, that's stupid.
Yep. And it also puts the onus on the company, whether it's Target, Walmart, whatever, to make that choice, thereby alienating the market.
Face the wrath of the 2A folks.
Because if there's one thing we know, it's that people who are right-wing on the internet are not at all prone to overreaction.
Sure. I mean, I go to my Walmart. I want to buy my flat screen and my broccoli, and I want to do my gun. I don't understand what the problem is.
I don't either.
Well, we're off to a good start. I'm 0 for 1.
Yeah. All right. So the next case is a little bit more technical, but it involves environmental regulation and specifically specific states' ability to sue companies like Monsanto, even if like a jury has found that is a state allowed to sue a company like Monsanto after a jury in a specific case has found that they are, responsible for pollution that's causing cancer in a neighborhood or something like that?
This is a little complicated, isn't it? Because the states presumably let the companies in the first place, right?
Well, yeah, presumably. I mean, I'm sure the company just had to get a permit or whatever. It's a company.
Right. But is there some sort of contract that says they wouldn't do stuff like this?
Well, I think it's generally understood that it's illegal to give people cancer because of like your polluted runoff running into their water supply or whatever.
Oh, that sort of thing is still frowned upon in this country. Is that right?
I mean, in theory, right?
Okay. But the idea is that companies like Monsanto still do this anyway.
It seems to happen with some regularity, yes.
Sure. And then juries are like, you can't do that. And you're telling me then the states want to get compensation.
Well, the individual cases will get, the people who win the verdict will get their compensation. I think it's the state then wants to further sue to ban them from this practice or further punish them, right? Also, it's over the issue of like, there's like a failure to warn. So it's like the state won't be suing for the specific instance, but they'll be suing because it's like, Monsanto, you should have known, you should have warned your neighbors that there was a chance this could happen and you didn't. So they're basically suing them for like a kind of negligence, I guess. Should they be allowed to or not? What do you think? The states?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Surely, like, under no circumstance, they wouldn't ever be allowed. That sounds ridiculous. So yeah, I would say yes. You have to keep that possibility open for, if it's suing, then I'm presuming that there is another case where someone decides whether they are accountable or not.
That would be how it would go if they were allowed. But in fact, they are not allowed, Michael. You're wrong.
They're not allowed?
No.
What do you mean? Like they can't even sue?
No. I have a quote from The Hill here about the case. This is Monsanto Company versus Durnell. The 7-2 ruling found that state...
David and Goliath, huh?
Durnell, yeah. Durnell and Monsanto. It's the modern David and Goliath. Good. The 7-2 ruling found that state-level failure to warn lawsuits were preempted by federal law, effectively shielding companies from liability lawsuits, even if juries find that their products cause cancer or health problems. So basically, the Supreme Court found in favor of the federal government's jurisdiction here and said the state does not have jurisdiction, which is a little weird because we know that
it's a little It's counterintuitive a little bit.
But it's also like the federal government under Trump, at least, has completely abdicated all enforcement of all environmental regulations of any kind. So they're basically just giving Monsanto carte blanche to pollute as much as possible and warn no one.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty frightening in terms of because like if they're already doing it with the potential threat of being sued.
Yeah, they don't care if they get sued by a few, cancer
Brockoviches, etc.
Or Michael Clayton. It's like Michael Clayton is this kind of scenario, right?
Yeah, I guess that's more accurate. Yeah,
but
anyway. Now Clayton's out of work essentially.
Well, he is anyway because they tried to kill him. Remember, they blew up his car. But he stopped to look at that majestic animal, and great movie. I mean, the ultimate bro movie in some ways. Still,
it's a great one.
Still good.
We should probably do it at some point, just because.
I mean, so good. It's one of my favorites. Just gives me that really happy feeling inside. When I see the Monsanto win, I'm just no, just kidding. All right. So we got a couple immigration cases.
So wait, that means I'm now 0 for 2.
You're now 0 for 2, yeah.
Out of step with the...
I'm ready for you to be 0 for 7, actually. So
really? I don't think that's possible.
Or 0 for 8, even. All right, so a couple big immigration cases came down in the last couple weeks. Okay. So, as you may be aware, a number of immigrants in this country have something called temporary protected status, which
I'm aware, but since I'm hearing a little bit of evidence, can you just sort of explain exactly what that means?
Exactly? No, I cannot explain exactly.
Generally.
Yeah, in general, I can say...
Vaguely. Can you
I can vaguely explain it, yes. Basically, it's for people from countries that are undergoing civil distress who've migrated and sought asylum. They haven't been granted asylum yet, but they have been granted this temporary status, which allows them to work while they're in the United States.
Now, is it a pathway to an asylum hearing?
I think they're going to get an asylum hearing in theory.
So it's like a stay, essentially.
I'm not really sure on the technicalities on that one. But I don't know how it affects whether they're getting asylum or not.
What we do know is
basically the courts are really backed up. These people have families; they need to work while they're here. The government's saying, okay. You came from such a bad situation. We get it. Here's a permit.
We're not going to send you back, but we're not granting you asylum right now.
And we're also not granting you any path to stay here necessarily.
Yes. Okay.
We're just giving you a temporary protected status.
Right. So we're talking about sort of the bare minimum sign of humanity, right?
I would say so. And it's applied currently to 350,000 Haitians in the country.
Yes.
And
we heard a lot about this in the election, correct?
I believe so. Yes. This is where the infamous eating the dogs, cats moment came up.
Right.
Yeah. And also 4,000 Syrians from the recently concluded long Syrian civil war, excuse me.
Yeah.
So Trump, as you may imagine, wants to immediately repeal this temporary protected status in order to...
So Trump took the case to the Supreme Court?
I think so. No, that's not how it works. Trump sided with the case that a state attorney general probably brought.
Right.
I think this is Springfield, Ohio. Maybe I think it was Colorado and Ohio were the two places where this was like the biggest hot button issue.
Yes.
The case is Mullen versus Doe. I don't know who Mullen is. Again, I'm not a lawyer.
Is it actual Doe, or are we talking about like a Jane John situation?
It's like a John Doe situation.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. It's a pseudonym used for an anonymous person, right?
Got it.
Anyway.
That must be weird if your name's Doe, you know?
Well, I don't think it's anyone. Have you ever met someone who's actually named like...
Got to be someone named Doe.
Patrick Doe.
D-O-E?
Yeah, D-O-E.
Is anyone named Doe?
We'll do a full episode on this later. The question of Doe. I think the reason they use it is because it's not a real name, right? But at this point, maybe someone was like reading a book and they're like, I'm going to name my kid John Doe.
Doe. Yeah, John Doe.
Anyway, so do you think the question was, does Trump have the constitutional ability to repeal this status unilaterally, or do the people have the right to some kind of judicial appeal after the status has been repealed?
I think that given where this court has been on...
Well, not even that. What would you decide?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I feel like I, under no circumstance, would allow these things to be cut off ever. So I guess I'd be the bleeding heart liberal on the bench.
I'm afraid so.
But I feel like if I had to guess, which I know is not actually part of this new format, I'm going to say that the court sided with that there is some executive power that allows him to do basically whatever he wants. Is that where we landed?
Yeah, I mean, that he has unitary authority to repeal this status whenever he wants, and that people have no right to a judicial review of this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they can't appeal it at all. It's just the president decides.
And that's because that would just also back the courts up.
Exactly. That would just create another. So they're basically just like, no, the president can do this without our oversight at all.
Wait, no. We actually do have the ability to show even less humanity than the bare minimum. Watch.
That's right. The other one is Mullen versus Al Otro Lado, which is are people allowed to seek asylum when they're meeting with border officials while they're still standing in Mexico? So you're seeking, you've escaped from Nicaragua or wherever, Venezuela, what have you. You've come all the way up. You're at the Rio Grande. You get to the border crossing, and some kind of bureaucrat comes out to meet you, and you say, I really need asylum. I'm being pursued by a militia, whatever it is, right?
It seems like the whole point of being able to claim for asylum, right?
Right. But you're not in the United States yet. You're still technically in Mexico when you ask. Do you have the right in that circumstance to seek asylum?
I'm surely.
No. Once again, you were wrong.
But you're not allowed in the United States.
Well, no, I guess the implication is you have to illegally enter the United States and then request asylum.
Are you serious? They actually did that?
I mean, I don't understand how else this could possibly work, right?
That's crazy.
And I mean, Obama started this policy of triaging people in Mexico before they're allowed. And now the Supreme Court has just been like, yeah, they can't even apply while they're still in Mexico. You're not under the jurisdiction of U.S. law.
So you do have to get in illegally to then...
Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you just jump over the line. I'm just very confused by the logistics of this.
What was the score on that one? Is that a 6-3 job?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. What a surprise.
I guess most of these are, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Not all of them. Yes, one is 6-3 the other way.
But they go against Trump. I don't know if any of these do as we go further, but is it usually Roberts who's somehow finding himself?
Well, it has to be two, right? Because it's...
Yeah, but I'm saying of the
Roberts
two that
is now the most likely to be. Well, Roberts or sometimes Gorsuch on some issues, sometimes Kavanaugh on some issues. They all have their pet issue where they're a little bit more liberal. For instance, Gorsuch is, I think, very liberal on anything involving treaty law with indigenous tribes.
Interesting.
He's very into the rights of indigenous tribes as a legal entity.
Okay.
So we'll often side with them when all the other conservatives are like, what?
But in many cases, when it comes to any, let's say, trying to curtail some of Trump's claims to executive power, has it been Roberts who's been on, hey, this
is... Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, the only areas...
God, how far we've come that it's Roberts' the last stand.
I know, right?
Oh my God.
The only areas where they tend to curtail Trump's power are real constitutional, Trump is just completely obviously abrogating the Constitution, and stuff dealing with money. They're like, hold on now, Trump. We, our friends, the bankers, really don't like that. All right, next one is the transgender students in sports. Basically,
this made it to the Supreme Court.
This made it, several states had passed bans of transgender people.
So it's good that it made it to the Supreme Court, right?
It's very good, let me tell you. And they're not allowed to play, specifically about transgender M to F people, right? Male to female transgender people playing female sports. No one has any problem with F to M playing male sports. Of course. And the issue is, are states allowed to do this? Is this in violation of Title IX, right? Title IX is the thing that says, is the rule that says you have to provide equal funding for men's and women's sports, right? And this is why certain colleges they have like a women's lacrosse team but no men's lacrosse team because the men's team is giving all its money to basketball and there's no money left and they have to offset it by the soccer team and right or like.
No, I'm familiar with Title IX, but if that was what the case centered on, I have a very bad feeling.
Well, of course. I mean, come on. This is a no-brainer. Obviously, what would you do if you were the judge, Michael?
I would probably be like,
no, they can't ban.
Yeah, I would be like, to the 84 transgendered athletes competing in high school sports that no one cares about
in the United States
to do so. Yeah, like what?
Well, that's one of the things.
I throw it out for like this is a waste of fucking time. Like,
yeah, well, it's just culture war bullshit.
But I'm guessing they just basically declared that if you're not biological sex, you're not considered a woman or a female in the eyes of Title IX. Right?
That's exactly right. How did you know?
I mean, it's
written right here in the notes.
No, but that is like
that's what they would say.
Yeah, right, but that could have like it already has the tragic implications for these poor kids who are just trying to play a game.
Yeah,
have like really terrible and frightening implications for pretty much everything.
Oh no, we live in a cruel and horrible country. I mean, that's being reinforced.
6-3 job, huh?
So in his 29-page opinion, Justice Brett Kavanaugh, a hero to women.
It's good. It's good to know that we have a country where the person who's leading the way on the decision making in this process is Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah, hero to women everywhere. This is from SCOTUS blog again. There'll be links to all these stories where you can actually learn the real details and not just my very poor précis. Anyway, Justice Kavanaugh wrote, consistent with Title IX and the Equal Protection Clause, we hold that states may maintain women's and girls' sports for biological females. They may determine eligibility for women's and girls' sports based on biological sex. The Constitution and Title IX do not require a overhaul of women's and girls' sports throughout America.
The Constitution and Title IX do not require an overhaul?
Yeah, I think the implication is that this, like the status quo is biological females are allowed, and to admit, it's weird. It's kind of reversing it because it actually wasn't an issue. Like, who cared about this until it became a culture war issue? You know what I mean? It's
right.
It's actually not that big a deal. Like, it's all just the Leah Thomas thing, right? It's like there's one good transgender swimmer, and like it becomes this like firebrand issue for a bunch of brain dead morons on Fox News. And so then
dress it up like it's been a constitutional issue.
And also just that it's been a problem that has happened in more than one instance, and that it isn't even a problem. Leah Thomas wasn't even the best swimmer. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, she took hormones. Never mind. Let's not get into it. It's infuriating. All right. So, of course, that was predictable. Let's do birthright citizenship, right? Are the children of illegal and undocumented immigrants citizens of the United States according to the Constitution, Michael? What do you think?
I think they are.
Yeah. And for once the court...
Which is not the case in every single country, is that correct?
No, it's not. A lot of cases have a lot of countries have weird guest worker situations where you could be like third generation living in the country but not a citizen because your grandparents...
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, I think Turkey, as we must now call them, and Germany had this situation for a long time. I don't know if it's still going. So there's a lot of guest workers from Turkey in Germany, and they were like not getting citizenship, even though there had been generations of families like living in that.
Sure.
It's a very weird situation. Canada has birthright citizenship, though, happily.
Well, happily.
And so in a 6-3 decision, this is again from SCOTUS blog, the court upheld birthright citizenship, saying Trump's executive order, right? Trump had issued an executive order saying that he's limiting birthright citizen to children of legal immigrants and legal American citizens or what have you.
Okay.
He said that his order did not comply with the 14th Amendment, which states that all children born in the U.S. are citizens provided they are under the jurisdiction of the United States at the time of their birth. As SCOTUS blog puts it, writing for the majority, Roberts emphasized that the children born of parents unlawfully or temporarily present in the United States satisfy both elements of the citizenship clause. Under the Constitution, they are citizens, right? They're in the U.S. and they're under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Right? Even if you're not here legally, you can still be arrested, right? I mean,
yep.
I think the only people this doesn't apply to are diplomats, right? Because if you're a diplomat, you have diplomatic immunity. You're not under the jurisdiction. You're under your home country's jurisdiction. So my thought on this, though, is like, it's going to be hard for the Republicans to get around this.
Why? Just because the court basically laid out like
the court's like this is in the Constitution, right? Yeah, so the options at this point are basically amending the Constitution, which, as we know, is extremely difficult to do, either by the states or by the congressional method. You need to get a very high level of, I think it was 66 votes in the Senate or 67 votes in the Senate. You have to have like a 2/3 majority in the Senate. It's crazy. Anyway. The other thing is that, have you seen some of the responses, though? Stephen Miller quipped, well, I guess we're just going to have to ban pregnant people from entering the country.
Sorry? Can you just repeat that one more time?
Stephen Miller was like, we're just going to have to ban all pregnant people from entering the country. And it's like, oh, okay, well,
this is the astute political thinking that...
So is it like, do women, you get off the plane at JFK and like immediately have to take a pregnancy test? Is that how that's going to work? And like, what about false positives? Are we going to just, oh, you're pregnant. Sorry, get back on the plane. You're going back to London or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry, you're going back to Zanzibar.
It's a no-go. Right? Because it does kind of tie into another hot button issue that has just come up, which is, Trump going to bat for Folarin Balogun, the American striker of the World Cup team.
Which we talked about this, right? Oh no, I was talking with another friend about this. That it's hilarious because Balogun is the textbook case of an anchor baby. He's American because his family happened to be in New York for like 1 month when he was born.
Yes.
Immediately moved back to the UK. His dad is Nigerian, I think, or maybe both his parents are, but they're British. And he
could have played for England.
Played for England his entire life until 2022. Mm-hmm. He was like
we went begging. The American national program went begging because they needed a striker. And what's interesting too is that they were attempting to leave. So the reason he was born.
Oh, they were trying to get out?
Well, I mean, airline staff wouldn't allow her to board the flight.
Because she was so pregnant.
Because she was 7 months pregnant.
So they had to stay and give birth to him.
Yes.
That's hilarious. And now he is...
And this guy's plan is now that nobody can enter the country who's pregnant.
But so the controversy is, in case you're listening to this later and have forgotten...
And it's just such a classic, I'm sorry, just like, this is a perfect example of the logic of these people.
So Balogun was suspended after a red card he received in the first knockout round of the World Cup, which is being hosted with Mexico and Canada, but primarily in the U.S. this year. And... after a red card, you get suspended for the following game, and maybe more if it's a really serious red card, like if you hurt someone badly or what have you.
Yeah.
So he was going to be suspended for the U.S.'s second round game against Belgium. And by the way, the outcome of this will be known by the time you're hearing this. I want to root for the U.S.
He will have scored a hat trick.
He will have scored a triple brace or double hat trick. He will have scored 6 goals against Belgium. So
shows quality in the final third.
Now, the play that Balogun got suspended for was a bad. I mean, he could have broken the guy's ankle. He was stepping on. I mean, it was not a good play. He wasn't doing it intentionally. It wasn't malicious, but it's the kind of thing where
this is something that soccer deals with constantly, and there's a general inconsistency. Sometimes it feels like a ref goes, "Yeah, he didn't really mean to do that," and sometimes they do. That's
what
we
happens. Saw in the England game last night. Similar, the guy wasn't trying to, but he kicked the ball away, and then his spikes just went right into the shin of a Mexico player.
Yeah, and
again, not intentional.
In the England game, as he slid, it was like an irresponsible slide, more reckless, I think, than Balogun's slide.
For sure.
But he got very unfortunate in that his calf rode up against the ball as it was sliding,
and then
away,
went right into the guy.
Kept his studs up high,
right?
And he got sent off. And from what I can tell, they haven't launched a congressional investigation.
After Balogun was suspended, Trump apparently called the head of FIFA, and now we learn a day and a half before the match that the red card has been suspended. The red card itself has been suspended. I love that. Yes, right. His suspension hasn't been canceled. His red card.
I like the idea of like the visual of like they put a red card up and they show it a red card.
And there's like one of those no smoking things over the red card.
Right.
Yeah.
And Trump is fully like, again,
Trump is claiming that he just did this.
It's one of the one of the greatest parts of Trump. I mean, obviously terrible, but like, is it the thing that his ego is so huge.
Yeah.
That he can't just do the corruption. He has to take credit and indict himself in doing the corruption.
Well, it's a little bit like the Nick Mullen thing, right? And now the clues, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's right. It's right. It actually is that, but it's crazy because it's just like,
it's not even the clues though. It's just now the confession, right?
Yeah. When it first comes up, it's like the very first news breaks, like, oh man, I bet Trump said something. And then of course you hear a bit of reporting, like, seems like Trump might have said something, but then it was just going to be like, everybody saying, yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We know this probably happened. And then he just said, I did it.
I did it. Do you think I've gone too far? I did it. Guilty as charged.
Yeah.
To paraphrase David Matthews, the great philosopher.
Technically, government interference is grounds for dismissal for the team itself. They're supposed to get banned from the tournament.
Well, that will be great. Matt, watch they win.
So by this time tomorrow, when you see that they weren't even allowed to walk on the field and everyone's talking about it, we were first.
We were there. We were there before it had happened. All right. Yeah, but the fact that he's gone to bat in such an extreme way for a guy who is the poster child for this thing that he alleges to hate because he happens to be a mega jock, so it's fine. I mean, that's it, right? Dolligan's a huge jock. He's a star for the soccer.
Plus, he's a great athlete, and he's making America look good. This is
who does he play? He plays in the Premier League, or
no? He plays for Monaco.
Oh, that's right, in the French league. But I mean, so he doesn't even live in the United States. I mean,
he's been really good.
He's lived in the United States for like 1 week in his entire life. Like it's not. He's a good player. No, I like him.
I also just feel bad for him. Like
he's just in the center of this whole thing. I mean,
it's like now, like what he scores, and people are like, oh, that, or he doesn't score, and he like couldn't handle the pressure.
What was all the trouble for? Yeah.
He's like 25-year-old kid, man. It's brutal.
Is he even that old? I thought he was younger than that.
He's 25.
Okay. So last case. We're almost at the end here. Internet age verification. So Texas has a law, and this just came down today. Texas has a law that says the App Store, the Apple App Store, and the Google Play Store, which is the Google App Store for Android users, they have to verify the ages of users before they're allowed to download things. And it's all in the name of the rising parental control movement, right? Where parents want to have full control over their children's lives.
If there's one that I'm going to be on the side of I think that...
You think Texas is right?
I'm talking about if I was a judge. I don't know if I don't, at first blush, I would think it's not the worst idea I've ever heard. But it also
means that everyone else has to verify their age too.
What do you mean, in every other state?
No, everyone in Texas, whether you're 15 or 95, because they don't know how old you are. So you have to give your license to these companies.
And usually, I mean, you have to verify your age when you apply for like a credit card, right?
Do you? I don't remember ever sending in my.
Really? I don't. I can't. I think
the predatory credit cards just knew when my birthday was and started flooding.
I mean, I know there's places ask your birth date all the time when you're filling stuff out.
Sure, but you don't have to send a copy of a photo of your license to an evil tech.
Oh, it's sending a copy of the photo that's the issue?
Well, not sending it literally, but like uploading it. I think that's where privacy people have a problem. So they fear the database, and it's... Is
there another way to, like...
There are cameras that will try and estimate your age based on your appearance. But for Michael, for you, that would never work because you look like you're 16 still. I mean,
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And of course, anybody watching the video feed, I'm the grand old age of 31. So you can see... I don't know. I guess, maybe I'm not qualified for this job. I guess they shouldn't have to do that, actually. The implications are probably pretty bad.
Yeah, well, good news, because the Supreme Court once again disagrees with you. and they say it's fine that Texas is doing this. And
Taylor, I was on the fence, and then I went the wrong way. Okay.
Yeah, Taylor Lorenz, I'm sure, is outraged. Taylor Lorenz is like the ultimate for internet for children as much as possible advocate. I think she's a very good reporter. I really like Taylor Lorenz, but she has a few takes on a couple issues that I'm just like, okay, like she's one of these people who is like, if children don't have the internet, they don't have freedom, right? And other people are like, no, it's probably a good idea to ban the internet in school because no one's learning anything and people can't like think anymore.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't have the internet when I was a child.
Yeah.
And I never once felt free.
Right. I don't think feeling free is really a big part of being a child, right? It's like kind of the antithesis of it. Even though ironically, looking back, you're like, I was so free. I just had to go to school and like tie my shoes and
yeah. I mean, that might have been the case for you. For me, I was like, when am I going to be able to get online?
Really?
Yeah, even before they invented it. I was like, you know what I
mean? Wasn't know I was always online because I'm deranged.
Sure, that's true. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Well, I struck out. That's fine. I mean, I don't know. Where are you on the age
I agree with you on all of this. Yeah, I think the age verification thing is bullshit. I think it's crazy. I think it's just another slippery slope. I think Taylor Lorenz for once, well, no, she's often right. In this case, Taylor Lorenz is definitely right. That all this stuff is just, they want you to have a fixed ID on the internet, so you can't be an anonymous poster. So if you criticize the government, they can sanction you and send the police to your house, which is what they're doing to people left and right, especially in the UK. They love that in the UK.
Yeah.
If you're like caught wearing a Palestinian pin, they'll like send the police to your house and stuff. It's really pretty dystopian. But now that Sir Keir is gone, I'm sure that'll all be fixed. I'm sure it was all just him. There's not any deeper rot in the British.
Should we just talk a bit about how to deal with a court?
Yeah. So like, what's the problem with the Supreme Court? Well, for a long time, especially in 2020, we heard a lot about pack the court. If Biden got in, that he should appoint 5 new justices.
I believe Pete Buttigieg was an advocate of this.
Yeah, I'm sure for a time, and then probably walked that back.
When the focus group suggested it was a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, he was a Medicare for all guy until he wasn't. He's not to be trusted.
Sure.
So you brought up this article from Politico from 2019 that when all this was sort of bubbling as a new election loomed. It talks a lot about FDR, and basically what FDR did, because he was very frustrated when he's passing the New Deal, that these older Supreme Court justices kept ruling against him. So he kind of threatened to appoint 6 more justices, but he also had this thing where he was going to, like reinstate, like judicial pensions, I guess, had been stripped. Like they didn't have pensions anymore.
Cut.
They've been cut, and he was going to restore them to their full, as a kind of like, hey, why don't you take a little pension when you retire, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he also wanted to. He had this thing where there was a law where you could appoint an extra judge for any judge older than 65 who hadn't retired. And so it was like he was going to apply that to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has been at 9 members since 1869, right? Since just after the Civil War, when it was expanded to this number. And
what do you feel about an idea where you appoint an extra justice for every justice older than 70? I think it just creates the same problems, is it not? Like,
no, I mean, it doesn't if you do it as a Democrat, because the issue is...
Right. Okay.
Well, hold on. People always say this. If the Democrats expand the court, won't the Republicans just expand the court the next time they get in? And the idea is like, no, they won't be able to, because if the Democrats control the Supreme Court, they'll expand voting rights. They'll stop all this bullshit. Right? It's like they'll rule against gerrymandering. Like all this stuff the Republicans have used to like maintain their power will be thrown out the window. So they won't be able to get to a Senate majority where they could do that again. Right? Anyway, in theory, that's, I forget who said that. It's another podcast. I think it was Peter from the Supreme Court podcast. What's it called? Peter Shamshiri. Anyway, so I think this idea of like pointing an additional justice for every older, that's getting somewhere. But you had some like radical suggestions how we might encourage older justices to retire.
There's a couple things like if it's this important, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so for example, the simpler ones would be like you start running all meetings, hearings, and trials after 6 p.m.
Good. Yeah.
Well, the Morty Seinfeld theory, do you know this? Where he gets hired by Peterman. Elaine hires him and then has to get him fired. I do think that like instead of just continuing their pension or their salary, we could just literally bribe them off the bench. Like here's $100 trillion on your 65th birthday, but you have to leave right now. And just print the money. And
100 trillion is maybe a little high, but maybe just $1 billion.
Okay, I like this one. We suggest the death penalty for them if they don't retire. Okay.
Yeah.
But we know that it's not real.
Okay.
That we wouldn't do it. That it's in jest, but we don't act like that or tell them. So just like
hey, would it really be a shame if the death penalty were in play if you don't retire? Like that kind of thing?
That's right. I like this one. I like this one. For every year that they stay past 65, one of their own majority opinions gets reversed, no questions asked.
I like the no questions asked. They have all this rationalization behind it, and it's just, oh, sorry, reversed. No, but I wrote the reasons. We don't care. No questions asked.
Once they hit 60, none of their immediate or extended family are allowed to have jobs or children. So you can stay on. Look, we know.
Hey, you got the freedom to keep this job for life.
These are lifelong appointments. We understand that. It's just that none of your family, immediate or extended, can have children.
Yeah, I'm sorry. John Roberts III, he is not allowed to work or go to college, actually.
No air conditioning in their offices. Love it. Like, just make it a little more difficult to stick around. You know what I mean? If they don't retire at 65, you threaten to appoint anywhere between 25 and 125 million American citizens to the court. Like, they're like, oh, you were scared we were going to pack the court? We're just going to make everybody a Supreme Court justice.
We're going to flood the court.
Lifelong appointments. And then my favorite, which I think would actually do the trick better than any, is this.
Yeah.
You are, of course, allowed to stay for life. We know that. But every day, you have to do lunch with Pete Buttigieg. I truly think,
as long as you both shall live.
I honestly think that if his job, since he wanted to pack the courts and deal with it, if we set about having Pete Buttigieg do 6 lunches a day, right?
What about nine?
Yeah. Well, no, we'll leave the other 3 aside who seem to be. For now, we're just going to have him do these 6 that keep voting in these ways.
Oh,
I
see.
And he shows up imagine that, man. Imagine you have lunch and every day you're having lunch and you have to listen to that fucking guy.
Pete Buttigieg is like, well, I've been thinking about chess a lot lately.
And then it's like, you can not only stop having to listen to Pete Buttigieg, how about $100 trillion?
I think these are helpful suggestions, and I'm sure our government will implement all of them. All right, well, that was interesting.
Why don't you tell the folks what we're doing next week?
Yeah, next week we're going to go
a bit of 250th anniversary.
Yeah, we're going to go back to one of the more apocalyptic events in American history, the end of the Civil War. In specific, we're going to be talking about the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, which is a conspiracy. There were several moving parts. There were other assassinations that were supposed to happen that got botched. It was a whole big thing. Talk a little about Boston Corbett. Are you Corbett-pilled, Michael?
I don't know anything that
Boston Corbett is the guy who killed John Wilkes Booth. He shot him when he was in the burning barn after the chase.
Like the Jack Ruby type deal?
No. He was a Union soldier, but he had castrated himself in a moment of religious ecstasy years before.
What?
Yeah. Dude, Boston Corbett is the craziest character in American history. Wow. And he changed his name to Boston because that was where the revelation happened.
No. No.
Yeah, he was like
I can't wait.
He was a sex maniac, and he like had to get it under control, so he took drastic measures. And then the funny thing is, he came out and was like praying with his church group until like the blood started pooling all around him. And they were like, Mr. Corbett, are you okay? And he's like, no.
Oh, man, this is going to be great.
Yeah, a lot of characters. This will not be the shortest episode ever. Maybe even a two-parter. Probably not. I'll try and get it all in one. In the meantime, if you like the show, you can follow us on the podcast of your choice. If you really like it, you can rate us and review us on that podcatcher. You can also follow us on Instagram at the End of the World WMS, where we post exciting reels from the show. So Lincoln Assassination next time. It's going to be great. And until then, this has been the End of the World with Michael and Stu.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Stu. And we'll talk to you real soon.